So one of the concepts that I wish I would have learned a lot earlier in my career is R&D credits and cost seg. And that's something that we have an expert with us here today, Tiffany. And we're just going to go through some of the things to look for with your clients and when we want to bring in a CPA expert to look at some of those tax credit opportunities.
Yeah, so Tiffany's with Acena Consulting. She's been a guest speaker up here to several of our study group events and had great response from our advisors. She's actively working with several of our clients. It's really going well. And I think there's no closer path to get to a business owner's heart than to help them save on taxes. And that's exactly what Tiffany does. So we're big on like bottom lining things. And the bottom line is if you have business owners that are in certain industries, Tiffany can help save them quite a bit of dollars on taxes through R&D credits and cost segregation. And she works collaboratively with a lot of our other advisors and their advisors or other advisors of the client. So Tiffany, if you can just kind of share if we identify a client or an advisor, what some of the next steps are, how you kind of go from ground zero to your planning.
Absolutely. So I think to go back to Charles's point too, a big part of the idea is to get in front of people as soon as possible. So when there is a moment in time where a business owner is trying to do something new or improve something they're already working on, those are really key points to kind of come into this conversation. And if you have identified some of your clients within your base that could potentially use the credit, I think it's really important to have that conversation up front. So it usually is initiated just by a half an hour conversation, trying to understand the entity structure, understanding profitability, but also understanding the activities within the business itself, because that's really what's going to drive the applicability of an R&D tax credit.
And Tiffany, that original conversation, who is it the CFO, the HR, the CEO? What do you see as far as who's involved on that first call, or just the advisor?
So that's a good point. So it depends on who has the information, and the metrics that I usually will need or my team will usually need in order to move forward is going to be financial information, basically where they're at, what their tax situation is like, what the history is like. So from that could be from an advisor's perspective and or the CFO's perspective. When you start getting into micro details on qualified costs, the CFO, the controller, the owner, if they're involved in that part, is going to be an important part of that process. And then also from a technical perspective, somebody who's actually working on the activities within the business that would have an idea of the process they go through to make something better.
So I think on that, so like the CEO might not be as in tune with like the day-to-day on like what actually is being done. He has a broad overview, but so sometimes you might bring in one of those people, like a managerial level that's like overseeing the production team or whatever it may be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is those kind of two prongs, because it's the what are you doing, and then can you use a credit, can you drive a credit? So they're both important, but sometimes they'll come in phases.
And can you share just a quick idea of like a case study or recent client you're working on? Doesn't have to be one of ours, but one you're working on, and then what the bottom right line result was in the form of like dollars got, credits back or vice versa.
Yeah, it's kind of, again, it shifts across the board depending on industry, but it's not uncommon to get like a certain percentage of payroll back specifically. And when we're talking about driving credits, you're looking at wages, you're looking at independent contractor costs and supplies. So depending on the industry, it'll depend a little bit on how much we can actually pull in to drive a credit. But one high level example is an AV company we've been working with. They're about 15 million gross receipts. At the end of the day, just based on a smaller actual allocation of their wages than you would probably see in like a tech industry, a specific like software development and or manufacturing or engineering or architecture, where a bigger portion of their payroll would be something that drives a credit. In that instance, we were actually able to walk away with a 1-year study of over $300,000 in credits.
Wow.
So if
and just to clarify, that's not a deduction, that's an actual tax credit.
Yeah.
So that's $300,000 of real money that's basically going back into the pocket of the business and the business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is net benefit. So when we talk about gross credits or net credits, that is the net benefit.
That's exciting. I mean, again, you want to impress your business owner clients to show up and save them a few $100,000 in 1 year. That's a big deal. And that's what we're all about. So We'd love to have you work with Tiffany and her team, and encourage you to keep your eye out for business owner clients. It doesn't always have to be like someone who's manufacturing widgets, which is a flaw that a lot of advisors that are familiar with R&D make. So broaden your scope. That's what Tiffany or team are great at, is getting creative, making sure it's compliant with the law, but also getting creative on who can do this.
And if you have more interest in this, we've got a great one-pager that we can share with you. So just let our team know and we'll send it to you and we'll continue the dialogue.